All right, diving right in. Looks like we've got a collection of resources today all about teaching PE to sixth grade English language learners.
Yeah, helping those students really thrive in PE.
Absolutely. And making sure it's a space where everyone feels welcome and can succeed regardless of their language level.
You got it. And it seems like from what you sent over, you're really looking for some practical strategies, things you can use right away in the gym.
Exactly. So let's jump into it. There was this one thing that really popped out from the material, the focus on visual demonstrations,
Yeah.
showing instead of telling, especially when working with these students.
Makes sense. Right. Think about it. They're already dealing with a new language on top of everything else going on in PE class.
So much to process, yeah.
So anything to lighten that load, that mental juggling act, is going to be huge. And visual demonstrations, those do just that. It's like seeing a dance move. You instantly get it, as opposed to just hearing someone explain the steps, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a visual learner myself, big time. And speaking of keeping things clear, there was a lot in the material about simplifying language and using gestures.
Yeah, avoiding jargon and complicated terms.
Right. Like, I love that example. Instead of saying, keep your core tight, you say, hold your belly firm.
Yeah.
Simple and straightforward.
Exactly. Because what might seem simple to us can be totally unfamiliar to them. So, clear language paired with gestures, you're hitting all those learning styles.
It's almost like creating this whole PE sign language. What are some gestures you found really work well?
Oh, even just pointing to your feet and saying, feet shoulder width apart, or miming like you're dribbling a basketball. Those go a long way.
It's amazing how powerful that can be. And then there's the buddy system, pairing up ELL students maybe with someone who speaks their language.
Or just a patient classmate. It's like building a bridge, you know?
It is, not just for the language, but for feeling comfortable, included, and part of the group.
Exactly. And when it comes to learning new skills, new game rules, repetition is key. Think about it. If you were trying to learn a new sport in a foreign country,
Oh, I'd need to hear those key phrases over and over again for sure.
right, like learning a song, it gets stuck in your head.
Mm.
And then combining that with written instructions and pictures, that was another big takeaway I
Oh,
noticed.
yeah, those visuals, so
Mhm.
important for me. Like a labeled diagram for stretches. They can see the name, the picture, maybe even a description in their native language if possible.
Exactly. Layering those supports, making it as accessible as possible. It goes back to that cognitive load idea, right? Making it manageable.
Totally. Meeting students where they are.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was also a lot of emphasis on labeling things in the gym, the equipment, the different spaces.
Think about it. If you walked into a gym and everything was labeled, the basketball hoop, cones, mats, everything.
It's like this big visual dictionary of PE.
Exactly. So helpful when you're trying to learn the ropes, especially in a new language. And speaking of language development, peer teaching. That really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah, getting students to explain things to each other.
Such a powerful way to learn. Imagine a student who's got the hang of a drill, explaining it to their classmates,
Huh?
maybe even using simpler terms and gestures.
Win-win. The student who's explaining gets to solidify their understanding, and the student listening gets a different perspective.
Exactly. And then there's breaking down those complex instructions, especially for a brand new skill.
Right, instead of just saying, dribble the basketball, you break it down. Bounce, step, bounce, step.
Smaller chunks, much easier to digest, especially when you're thinking about language and movement all at once.
Like building blocks, right. Each piece adds up to the whole. Oh, and before I forget, that point about modeling games before students play independently, that's so crucial.
I agree. No guesswork. Everyone's on the same page. They see how the game flows. Imagine modeling freeze tag as a class.
Everyone's involved. Less confusion, more participation. I love it. And of course, pre-teaching those key vocabulary words before each lesson.
Picture cards, fun little games, even incorporating them into a warm-up activity. Like if it's a soccer unit, you pre-teach goal, pass, kick.
Sets them up for success. And we can't forget the power of positive feedback.
Thumbs up, a smile, a simple, good job. It goes a long way.
Huge. Showing those students you see them, you believe in them, that encouragement matters.
And then technology. We've got all these tools at our fingertips.
Like those short videos showing techniques, right?
Oh, incredibly helpful. Imagine showing a quick clip of basic basketball drills. Students see it in action. So helpful, especially for visual learners.
It's like having a virtual coach right there in the gym. And as we wrap up, I wanted to touch on routine and structure. The material really emphasized how important that is, especially for ELL students.
A predictable routine makes everything less intimidating. starting each class with the same warm-up, for example.
Creates that sense of familiarity. Everyone knows what to expect. And of course, when we're talking about assessment, it's about celebrating effort and progress, not just perfection.
Absolutely. Recognize their hard work no matter where they are on their language journey.
It's about creating a supportive environment where they feel comfortable taking risks and trying their best. It's been awesome diving into this. We've covered so much, from visual demonstrations to using technology and everything in between.
And remember, every group is different, so adapt these strategies to fit your students, see what works best for them.
And have fun with it. That's what PE's all about.
Exactly.
Well, that's about it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening. We'd love to hear what resonated with you, what you're excited to try out in your own classes.
Keep up the fantastic work. We're cheering you on.
Theo.